Shamrock Rovers Fan TV. Now today I have my match preview for Shamrock Rovers against Shelbourne at Tallaght Stadium. The game will take place this Friday at 7:45. It's going to be a cracking game, I think. Shelbourne are currently 6th in the table, but they're only 1 point behind of getting top 4, getting 4th place off St. Patrick's Athletic. So it will be a big game for them, and for Rovers, we have to turn around from a very disappointing result against St. Pat's. We have to, learn from our mistakes in that game, and we need to attack better, I think. We went a lot down the left against Pats, and I think we have to use Ronan Finn a bit more. And as I said in my match reaction, we need to use Ronan Finn a little bit more, to be honest. Now, Shelbourne have Gary Deegan in midfield, who I think is a very, very good player. He's done very well for them this season. I can see him leaving Shells to go to maybe a bigger club. Maybe Dundalk might get him because he's a great player. I did a top 10 League of Ireland players a couple of months back, and I think he was very unlucky not to get into that. He would have been top 15 definitely. And Kieran Kilduff up front for Shelbourne, I'm worried about him, former Shamrock Rovers player. We know what he can do, smashing player, so we have to be careful about them too. Now, I am very confident going into this game. We played all right against St. Pat's. It was just Pat's, when they sat back, it was very hard to break the defence down. But if we can do that better this weekend, this Friday, I think we'll have a much better chance of winning. Because once we break down the defence, it's nearly a certain goal. Now I'll get into my squad in just a second, but I'm going to talk about who is available for this game. Now, Greg Bulger, we know, can't play, and it's very unfortunate. Looks like Sean Kavanagh can't play as well. Grein Burke, I'd say he'll play. He's done very well the last 2 games, coming back from his injury. Aaron Bulger, who started for Rovers 2 against Bray Wanderers in a disappointing 1-0 loss, he could start. I don't think he will start. I think he's going to get some game time under his belt for Rovers 2. And then I think when we see the best of him, he'll come into the A squad, and I think he'll do quite well. Now on to my squad. 5-4-1 formation as always, and 3-4-3 while attacking. I think Alan Manis has to start in goal. I say this every week, and I hope I say it for every game for the remainder of the season, because I hope he stays at Rovers. I hope he sees his career out at Rovers. I think he's getting on in his career, yes, but he has a couple of years left on him, and he's shown that he's still the best keeper in the league. So I hope he sees out his career at Rovers, and I think he could have a couple more years at Rovers at the very top. Now at left wing back, it has to be Neil Ferrugia. I think he did well against St. Pat's. It's just 60-70% of the time he did very well. And then the other part, it was very predictable what he was going to do. He either kicked it over the player or tried to chip it around him and try to get through. So it was very predictable. But we put him under pressure, I think, because we used him a bit too much. I think we should have used Ronan Finn out on the right, because I think he's a smashing player and he can do stuff. But Ferrugia, I think we put him under pressure using him too much. Now at right wing back, I'm going with Reece Marshall, who I think he kind of has to start. Ronan Finn hasn't been doing too well at right wing back. He probably should be playing in the middle of midfield if he is going to play. It's not that he's not doing well, it's just he's not getting involved. And I think if he got involved a bit more, he'd be getting man of the match performances. So I think we either get him involved, use him a lot, or don't play him. Now as our first centre-back, I'm going with Joey O'Brien. I think he has to start. He's a very good player, getting in his career, still has a few years left though, and hopefully he has them years at Rovers. Now next in defence is Lee Grace, who I think he could have had a better game against Pats, but he could have had a worse game. It wasn't a great performance and wasn't a good performance. Definitely not. Had some sloppy passes back to Manis, who did do very well with them, and back to Joey O'Brien, who controlled it very well. But I think he will start, because I don't think he's going to have another bad game for the rest of the year, because he's a smashing player, and I think he's going to have... Every player has a one-off, and I think that's his one-off, and he's going to get back to properly doing brilliant. Now, as our last defender, Roberto Lopez has to be. He's been a great player for the last few games. Smashing player. There's no way we can let him go. We need to keep him in the squad for the next couple of years anyway. He's 26, he's in his prime. He needs to have his prime at Rovers. Now, as the first midfielder, at the right midfield, I'm going with Jack Byrne. Has to be. He was my man of the match against Pats. There's no way you can get a man of the match-like performance and not start the next game. He has to start, one of the best players in the league. Best ever. He could be up there as one of the best ever League of Ireland players. Some people might say he is the best. I wouldn't say he's the best, but he'd be up there. And if he has another year like he did last year, this year, he could be right up there. Now, as the left midfielder, Grein Burke has to be. Had a super performance against St. Pat's and had a super performance when he came on against Derry. So he kind of has to start back from his injury, and he's doing very well since he's back. I didn't think he would play the full game against Pats, but he did. Fair play to him, and he did very well, so he needs to start. Now, as the first centre midfielder, like I said in the last squad, Ronan Finn, I think he needs to be playing, and if he's going to play, he needs to play in the middle or maybe a bit more forward at right, because Jack Byrne doesn't normally really play right mid. He normally comes in inside, and he's normally the right midfielder for the players that are inside. So I think Ronan Finn needs to start, and it needs to be in the middle. Now, beside Finner has to be Aaron McEneff. Super player, keeps having man of the match like performances. Wasn't my man of the match for the last game against Pats, and the same against Derry, but he's doing very well, and he has to be a candidate for the last couple of games. He has to be a candidate for man of the match. And now up front, I think Aaron Grein, he did super against Pats with his closing down and putting the pressure on. Maybe he could have finished a chance or two. He didn't finish any chances, but he didn't have that much chances, I think. He normally does miss quite a few chances, but he makes up for that with his runs. He puts great balls in, and we can't get on them. But I think he has to start because he does really well. He does drift out too much onto the left, but I think Stephen Bradley needs to tell him to stay in the middle. And if he's not going to stay in the middle, play him out on left wing because he's a really good player. Now, for my score prediction, I think it'll be 2-0 Rovers. I don't think Shelbourne will get a goal because our defence is very good. I think we will break down their defence, and I think we'll get 2 goals. I think Jack Byrne will score, and I think Aaron Grein will get a goal. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about who you think will score. I personally think we're going to have a way better game against Shells than we did against Pats. But let me know what you think. There will be lots of people that will fancy Shells, but I think Rovers will have the edge over them. I don't think it will be a one-sided game. I think Shelbourne will have some good chances, but Alamanis in goal, I think he'll stop quite a bit on Friday because he's a smashing player. Alamanis, super goalkeeper, so I think he will have a busy game on Friday, but I have no doubt that he's going to do well. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.